Hey there, Wuthering Waves warriors, ready to take your game to the next level? Today, we're diving into the ultimate tier list for the best characters in Wuthering Waves. Whether you're looking for a top-notch DPS to smash through waves of enemies, a sub DPS to support your main damage dealer, or a solid support character to keep your team alive and kicking, we've got you covered. And trust me, these picks will make your team unstoppable, or at least get you closer to that sweet victory screen. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what about those free characters the game hands out like candy? Well, guess what? They're actually pretty great for tackling the main story content. But let's be real, sometimes you need more than just the freebies. That's where having a variety of characters and teams comes in handy. You never know what combat scenario you'll face next, and even the best characters can't just brute force their way through every fight. So, buckle up, because we're about to break down who's worth leveling up and who might need a little more love on your roster. Let's jump right in. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking characters in Wuthering Waves. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching!
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Yang Yang, Chixia, Ling Yang, and Taoki. Alright, let's dive into the B tier characters of Wuthering Waves. These are some of the characters that players often have mixed feelings about. They're not bad, but they do have some notable limitations that make them less desirable compared to their higher tier counterparts. So, if you're rolling with any of these characters, here's what you need to know. First up, we've got Yang Yang, who's the very first 4-star character everyone gets for free. She's like your starter pack, reliable, easy to use, and provides solid aero grouping damage and utility. But as you progress and unlock stronger sub DPS characters that bring those sweet damage buffs, you might find Yang Yang falling off pretty quickly. She's like the dependable friend who was always there for you at the beginning, but as you make new friends with flashier skills, you start hanging out with them more. Now, let's talk about Chixia. She's a DPS unit that absolutely shines when dealing with hordes of enemies, thanks to her mobility and user-friendly playstyle. She's agile and can take down single target bosses without breaking a sweat, as long as you can dodge and reposition like a pro. But here's the catch, when swarmed by a group of enemies, her effectiveness can plummet. If you're not careful and get mobbed, you'll find yourself in a world of hurt. Think of her as a glass cannon. You can hit hard, but you got to stay nimble. Then there's Ling Yang, and let's just say he's having a bit of an identity crisis right now. In the current meta, he's being outclassed by the 5-star characters who bring that big AoE damage we all crave. Plus, he's lacking a dedicated Glacio support to really make his kit shine. As a result, his damage output feels a bit underwhelming. He's kind of like that character you want to root for, but you're left hoping for some buff or rework that will finally let him break out of his rut. Lastly, we've got Taoki, who's recently found a new role as a sub DPS in teams featuring Jinxie. She's got this cool synergy going with resonance skill amplification and can dish out quick switch damage with her resonance liberation, but, and it's a big but, she still suffers from her split scaling issues with her 40 and shields. This inconsistency across her kit prevents her from being that hybrid sub DPS support that we all know she could be. It's like she's got all the ingredients for greatness, but the recipe just isn't quite there yet. So, while these B tier characters each have their own quirks and strengths, they definitely require a bit more finesse and strategy to make the most of them. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Jianxin, Alto, Yuanwu, and Rover Spectro. Alright, let's dive into the A tier characters of Wuthering Waves. First up, we've got Jianxin. Think of her as the ultimate middle ground between main and sub DPS. She's versatile, offering both impressive AoE damage and effective crowd control. Jianxin's outro skill really shines, boosting Resonance Liberation DMG, which makes her a solid choice for sub DPS roles as well. But here's the catch, her jack-of-all-trades approach means she sometimes gets overshadowed by characters with more specialized roles. Next, let's talk about Alto. Alto is your go-to for a reliable sub DPS unit that excels in buffing aero DMG while still holding his own in combat. He's a solid performer though, he does face stiff competition from other sub DPS units like Mortefi. Mortefi's ability to dish out damage even while off-field gives her an edge that Alto finds hard to match. Then there's Rover Spectro. This character is another jack of all trades, offering a nice blend of sub DPS capabilities and main DPS potential. Her outro skill, which includes a time stop and a high damage resonance liberation, make her pretty versatile. Still, despite her potential, Rover Spectro tends to fall behind compared to characters who have a more defined role, whether it's main DPS or sub DPS. Last but not least, we've got Yuanwu. Yuanwu shines as a sub DPS unit with the added bonus of dealing coordinated electro DMG even when off-field. He can also reduce the enemy's vibration strength, making him quite useful. However, his effectiveness can be limited if enemies are quick on their feet and stay out of his circle of effect. This mobility factor can make Yuanwu a bit tricky to rely on against more agile foes. That's the scoop on our A tier characters. Each one brings something special to the table, but their versatility often means they're competing with more specialized units. Keep this in mind as you assemble your team and strategize in Wuthering Waves. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Calcharo, Encore, Mortefi, Sanhua, Beye, Danjin, and Rover Havoc. Alright, let's dive into the fantastic world of Wuthering Waves and talk about some of the top tier characters you definitely want to have on your team. First up, we've got Encore. If you're looking for a main DPS character who can lay down some serious fusion damage, Encore is your go-to. She's all about hitting hard and fast with her Cosmos Rave ability. Just a heads up though, while her damage output is insane, Encore doesn't bring much in terms of crowd control. Her Cosmos Rave lasts for just 10 seconds, so if you're not careful, you might find her getting overwhelmed. But if you can manage her fragility, she's a powerhouse. Next is Calcharo, the ultimate Electro main DPS unit. Calcharo really shines with his Electro damage thanks to his skill and liberation abilities, and with the new addition of Yinlin, his sub DPS game has reached new heights. If you want to electrify your enemies with powerful bursts of damage, Calcharo's the character you need. Moving on to Mortefi, this guy is a real game changer. His special mechanic allows fusion attacks to follow up even when he's off-field. This makes Mortefi incredibly valuable in fights, especially when paired with a DPS who uses heavy attacks. And since he's a 4-star unit, he's relatively easy to obtain, making him a fantastic choice for both newbies and veterans alike. Now let's talk about Sanhua, who is an absolute gem as a sub DPS. Sanhua is all about amplifying basic attack damage for 14 seconds, making her a great asset when you swap her in. She also deals decent damage herself, but you'll need to use her heavy attacks to detonate ice structures effectively. It's a bit of a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, Sanhua can really boost your team's performance. Then there's Baizi, your secondary healer if you don't have Verena. She's got some serious healing and buffing power with her resonance skill and liberation. Baizi can burst heal and keep the next character on the field buffed for 36 seconds. However, her buffs only apply to the next character that swaps in, not the whole party, so she requires a bit more strategy compared to Verena. Let's not forget about Danjin, a fantastic option for free-to-play players. Danjin can dish out massive amounts of damage, but she comes with an HP drain mechanic that can be tricky to manage. If you're skilled at keeping her health in check, she can be an absolute beast in battle. Lastly, we have Rover Havoc. This character is all about high burst damage, especially when they enter their Dark Surge state. Their basic attack shines in this mode, so make sure your dodging game is on point to maximize the damage output. With the Dreamless interaction, Rover Havoc can clear enemies quickly and efficiently, making them a top tier choice for any team. So there you have it. These characters are the cream of the crop in Wuthering Waves, each bringing their own unique strengths to the table. Whether you're looking to boost your DPS, enhance your healing, or just crush enemies with high burst damage, these S tier characters have got you covered. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Verena, Jian, Yinlin, Jinxi, Changli, and Zheji. Alright folks, let's dive into the S+ tier characters in Wuthering Waves. These are the game changers, the top-notch picks that will have you dominating every battle. First up, we've got Jinxi. If you're looking for a main DPS character that packs a punch, Jinxi is your go-to. Her skill and burst damage from Resonance Liberation are absolutely insane. We're talking about multipliers so high that she can obliterate any enemy that crosses her path. Jinxi doesn't mess around, she's here to deal some serious damage. Next, let's talk about Jian. This guy is not just a great DPS unit, he's a powerhouse in both single target and AoE damage. His ultimate is a game changer, capable of grouping up smaller enemies, which makes him a fantastic tool for crowd control. If you need someone who can handle groups and single targets with ease, Jian's your man. Now, onto Verena. She's a bit of a game changer in the support role. Unlike most supports who focus on just the character currently on the field, Verena goes the extra mile. She offers healing and buffs for the entire party, and even throws in coordinated attacks that deal Spectro DMGs while healing. She's not just a support, she's a full-on game asset. Let's not forget Yinlin. Yinlin shines as a sub DPS, and here's why. She boosts Liberation DMG and Electro DMG, and her Electro coordinated attacks deal extra damage. What makes her even more valuable is her ability to contribute damage even when she's not on the field. She's a great pick for anyone looking to maximize their damage output, whether she's active or not. Moving on to Changli, she's another stellar main DPS character. Changli can deal massive fusion damage with her fully stacked Forte circuit. Plus, she can buff her own 80k after using her ultimate, making her even more formidable. She's so powerful that you might not even need to use her as a sub DPS, though she can handle that role too if needed. And finally, we've got Zheji. As a sub DPS, she's exceptional. Zheji offers buffs on characters that scale off Resonance skill and enhances Glacio DMG. Being the first limited character to buff Resonance skill and trigger coordinated attacks, she adds significant value even when she's not on the field. Zheji's all about maximizing damage and buffs, making her a top tier choice for any team. That's the lowdown on our S+ tier characters. If you've got these guys on your roster, you're in for an epic time in Wuthering Waves. Keep grinding and good luck out there. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.